Hey guys, so today we're going to find the equation of the tangent line to the curve y is equal to e to the x cosine x at 0, 1. So when we're looking at a tangent line, we're looking at a rate of change on our graph, but at one instant on our graph. So a tangent line is an instantaneous rate of change. And remember, when we're talking about rate of change, we're talking about slopes. So if I did not spell instantaneous correctly. So if the line that we're looking at is in point slope formula, so y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, well, we're given a x1, which would be equal to 1. We're given a y1, which would be equal to 0. So now what is our m? Our m is represented by the derivative of our equation that we're given, and so what the derivative is, it's the instantaneous rate of change. So that's going to be the slope of our tangent line. So when we're finding the equation of our tangent line, our slope is going to be our derivative. So m is equal to the derivative, it's not how you spell derivative of the equation at whatever point we're given. So here we're given 0, 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the derivative of this y is equal to e to the x cosine x, and then we plug in 0 for our x value, and then that's going to give us the slope at this point. And then we plug that all into our point slope formula here, and then we're going to have the equation of our tangent line. So our step 1 is going to be take the derivative of the equation, and because we're taking the derivative with respect to x, we're going to plug in x value into your derivative, which will give you a value for your slope. I don't know why it never recognizes my handwriting. Gives you an exact value for m, and then plug x1, y1, and m into point slope equation. So these are going to be the steps that we're going to take for this problem. So now working this all out, the first thing that we're doing is we're taking the derivative of our equation. Our equation is y is equal to e to the x times cosine x. So in this, I'm clearly multiplying two functions by each other. I have one function that is y is equal to e to the x, and my other function is y is equal to cosine x. So because there's two distinct functions that are being multiplied here, we're going to have to use the product rule. And what the product rule tells us is that if we have two functions multiplied by each other, we take the derivative of our first function, multiply that times our second function, and then we add our first function times the derivative of our second function. And so now we're just going to take what our f is. We can call our f e to the x. We can call our f derivative, well, what's the derivative of e to the x? The derivative of e to the x is just e to the x. And then our g is going to be cosine x. And then what is the derivative of cosine x? The derivative of cosine x is negative sine x. So now that we have our f derivative, our g, and our g derivative, now we can just plug this all in to our product rule formula. So we have our f derivative, which is e to the x, and we're saying that y prime is equal to our e to the x times our g, which is cosine x, plus, turn off my spelling because it's being a little annoying, plus our f, which is again e to the x, times the derivative of our g, which is negative sine x. So let's rewrite this one more time as e to the x cosine x minus e to the x times sine x. You could also write this as e to the x times cosine x minus sine x. So now that we have our derivative, let's go back and look at what our steps are. So we took the derivative of our equation. That's done. Now we need to plug in our x value into our derivative and find what our exact value for our slope is going to be. So we're at the point 0, 1. So let's go back here and let's plug in 0 for our x values. So if we plug in 0 for our x value, we get y prime is equal to e to the power of 0 times cosine of 0 minus sine 0. So e to the power of 0 is just equal to 1. So we're going to have 1 times cosine 0 is also 1, and sine 0 is 0. So 1 times 1 minus 0, which is equal to 1 times 1, which is just equal to 1. So our slope, our m, is equal to 1. So now that we have an m worked out, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our point slope formula, which is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, and then we're going to plug in all of our points that we have. So we know that our equation is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Our x1 is equal to 0, our y1 is equal to 1, and then our m is also equal to 1. So we have y minus 1 is equal to 1 times x minus 0. So this is going to be y minus 1 is equal to x minus 0. So we have y minus 1 is equal to x, y is equal to x plus 1. And